here. All right, and 3, 2, 1.
92Q Nationals, R&B, and Throwbacks. It's Kenny Swift Morning Show. And since you know we always have the cool kids stop by the show to tell us what we need to know around here. So who we got today?
One of our state representatives, and he's from Memphis, Tennessee. State Representative Antonio Parkinson is in the studio. Antonio.
That's right, man. He is the state's legislature.
He's the real one in there. He's one of those that be in there that don't take no mess.
Yeah, man, we're going to give the uncut version every time, baby.
All right, man. You know, representing that North Memphis in the house. So the special sessions is going on right now with the vouchers, man. You know, give us the scale down, like, so we can understand the process. What's going on right now?
Yeah, so basically they are ramming it through, and it's funny because, you know, the last time they ran the voucher bill, they ran it for the quote-unquote poor black and brown kids. And now with this one, they're opening it up to everyone statewide, right? And what has been a fact is that 65% of the vouchers, which is a $7,000 coupon basically to go to a private school, and that money comes from the public schools. And 65% of the people that use vouchers in other states that have statewide vouchers already have their kids enrolled in private schools.
Right.
Think about what I'm saying. So these are rich folks that already got their kids enrolled in private schools. So they're basically getting a $7,000 coupon to save money for private schools that they can already afford.
Right.
Only 35% of those vouchers are going to go to poor kids, and it's interesting because they even got that split. So half of that 35% will go to the poorest of kids, which is about 17%, and then about 3,500 kids out of 20,000, and then the other half of that will go to kids just above the poverty line.
So what happens to the other kids?
Understand that.
Oh, what happens to them?
Yeah.
Oh, they stay stuck in
public.
public schools. Yeah. And watch this. This is what that looks like, right? They are saying this under the auspices of parental choice. The parents get to make the choice. But that is absolutely a bona fide lie.
Bold-faced lie.
Because the private school is the one that determines whether your child gets in that private school or not.
Because they can say yes and no.
They can say yes or no. So now you got Lil Ray, who's been cutting up in the public schools, and you got his sister, who's an A student, right? We're going to let the sister in, but Lil Ray, we can't do nothing with your little brother. Unless you can play basketball or something. Now, you can hoop. Yeah, you can hoop. Now,
you're running a 4-4, you come on in here.
And so that's what's going to happen to the public schools. They're going to skim the cream off the top and leave, you know, the children with IEPs in the public school, the children with the conduct issues in the public schools, the children that don't make as good of grades in the public schools.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a cold game, man. It's a cold scheme, right? And they are literally ramming it through. And if I'm not mistaken, this morning, when I leave here, we go on the House floor, and the voucher bill is on the House floor this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Like I told you, it is a scam.
Yeah.
You know, and it's basically just to give people that are already rich more advantages and give your poor kids less advantages.
Yeah, and
that's what this is.
And let me just add this last caveat. You know, I'm for, you know, us educating our own kids. I'm 100% for that, and I'm okay with us doing it through private schools. I'm okay. I would be okay with us doing it with vouchers, right?
Right.
But they wrote us out of the legislation. So you cannot even open up a private school to educate our own kids right now, and you won't be able to accept a voucher for the next 3 years.
Right.
Right. But the goal is to enrich their friends. Right.
And already have these schools.
Give them a head start in the game so that, you know, they get to jump on this thing.
Wow. So you'll eventually be able to get it, but you ain't going to get it right now.
No, you ain't going to get it right now because there's an accreditation process that has to happen. It takes about 3 to 5 years to get that accreditation. Wow. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's the
hustle is real,
Cold
baby.
game, baby.
So they got the phone situation happening right now. What about the phones in schools? I think that's on the floor too, right?
Yeah, it's not on the floor this week, but it'll be coming back up. Once we're out of this special session, we immediately go back into our regular session. And that bill came up last year or earlier this year in the previous session, and I voted against it in committee and explained why. You know, there's no way, no how I would want my child in a public school or a private school in the setting that we're in. These mass shootings are more and more frequent, right? And do you really want your child in that school and not able to communicate with you when this thing is going on?
Exactly.
Right. There have been parents that have gone through situations where there's been a school shooting, and this is the last words they were able to hear from their child on that cell phone, right? And so you do not. I would fight this tooth and nail.
Please do.
To And then here's the other thing: those cell phones also provide that transparency of what's going on in those schools too.
Yeah.
Right? So people are not able to put that spin on it when you can literally see it.
What's going on?
And those children, they ain't afraid of capturing this stuff. So
That's right. So we want to keep those phones handy for the kids.
I have a question real quick. Why is it that is not at the forefront of everything since the Antioch High School shooting and the Covenant School shooting, the guns, the phone bans, the things that affect the students directly? Why is it so important for everything else to go through first?
Well, you have to ask the question in reverse. Why is it that they're even running legislation to take the phones away from the kids?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Agree,
Yeah.
agree,
Because it's too much being exposed out there. Right. And what's interesting is that in the time we're in, and now it's all the way to the federal level, right? That they will do everything except fix the elephant in the room, which is the proliferation of guns and the ease of access to these weapons. Anybody can get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody, anywhere,
cheap.
they don't care. It don't matter what your mental status is, anything, you can get them.
Yep. All right, guys. And it's happening right now. We got Antonio Parkinson, Representative Antonio Parkinson, in the studio this morning. And sad note, finding out that it looks like they want to take over the Memphis City schools. That's supposed to be a state takeover?
Yeah. And
What does that mean, by the way?
Right. Thank you for asking that. And it's important to explain it because you hear people using it as a buzzword. And the killer part is, it's our own people, right, that don't realize what it is that they're saying. State takeover is not new. It's been happening with Memphis and Davidson County schools since 2011. The Achievement School District, that the state created, they said we're going to take the bottom 5% of schools, move them to the top 25% in 5 years. Failed miserably, right? They underperformed the schools they took over, right? But that was a state takeover. They were going to take 5% of the schools at each chunk, move them into the state, make them charters, and then take, another 5% starts. Then once you take the first bottom 5%, there's a new 5%. 5% again, 5% again, until they've turned every school into a charter school in Memphis and Shelby County and Davidson County. And so that was one. Vouchers is another, right? Vouchers, they come in, they start taking students, right, and removing them from the public schools, right? Stacking the school boards, that's another piece of legislation. They were going to add more members to the school boards that were not elected, right, to be able to dictate the outcomes of school board votes. And so this is a national agenda, just like what they did in Texas with the Houston Independent School District, to take over these urban schools, because it's not about education. This is key. When the word takeover in this sense means privatization. They come in, take it over, and they make their friends rich off the tax dollars that are in education.
Guys, like I keep saying, this is follow the money.
Yes,
Always
indeed.
follow the money, because that's where the end game is.
Yes, indeed.
I appreciate you coming in, man, and giving us a little insight of what's happening. I know you got to get down to the Capitol and do your business, man. You're going in there looking sharp.
We be seeing you on TV. You be standing out on TV. I'm like
Man.
looking
yeah,
at
he was
Antonio.
You know what I'm saying?
These folks,
You
man.
got crystal smelling your neck up in there.
That man in here real sharp, looking creamy.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that note,
Thank you for coming down. One more time, Sissy, who we got in the studio?
State Representative Antonio Parkinson from Memphis, Tennessee.
First
Thank you,
time
sir.
I ever been described as creamy.